What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with the news dump of the day on this lovely feisty, on Jets Twitter, feisty Thursday afternoon. Man, could the Jets use a bounce back performance against the Raiders for all of our sake? Please. Oh my goodness gracious. It is time for my Underdog Fantasy Picks, fresh off my win last week. What is going on? We won last week, so hopefully you tailed. But if you didn't, you could sign up now using my code and tail my picks. They are matching your deposit of $100 with a $100 match deposit bonus. There you go, up to $100. All right, Aiden O'Connell, lower than 207.5 passing yards. I don't think he is going to eclipse 200 in this game. The Jets defense just held Justin Herbert to 136 passing yards. Aiden O'Connell is not going to hit 200 in this game. And the Jets are going to lean on Breece Hall in this game. He will have more or higher than 15.5 rushing attempts in this one. 2 entries this week. Did a little bit differently. Did not do my normal 3. $10. 2 correct gets you 30. Sign up using my link down below. Let's talk about the biggest news coming out of the New York Jets press conferences and practice of today. So first, Billy Turner does not practice. I would be pretty surprised if Billy Turner is good to go for this game against the Raiders, and probably better if he doesn't play for the Jets anyway. I don't want him, again, like I said yesterday, I don't want anyone hurt. I don't want injuries. But sometimes injuries force your hand to do things differently with your players. And kind of like when Dwayne Brown went down, it allowed the Jets to put AVT at tackle and Joe Tippmann at guard, and the offensive line got better. Billy Turner not being available to play might end up helping the Jets with their offensive line formation. And with Dwayne Brown practicing again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the week that we see Dwayne. Obviously, there's still a few days out. It's not a guarantee that he's going to be back in, a full go, but with him being a full-time participant in practice this week, that's the best sign we've seen from him in a long time. And while I'm not a fan of moving Mekhi Becton's position, I think we just have to accept the reality that they would likely do that if they are putting Dwayne Brown back into the fold and having Mekhi Becton at right tackle. So I think we really could see a line of Brown at left tackle, Tomlinson at left guard, Tippmann at center, Max Mitchell or Xavier Newman at right guard, and Mekhi Becton at right tackle. Also, you could just have Max Mitchell at right tackle, Becton at left tackle if Brown's not good to go, and Newman at right guard, if I didn't say that one already. There's really a few different, iterations of the offensive line that we could see this week. But moral of the story is I don't think Billy Turner is going to be a part of that unit because of the injury, and the Jets might have a better unit out there with him not in it. Okay, let's get to Nathaniel Hackett. The coordinator spoke today. They usually speak on Thursday, and we got some things from both Nathaniel Hackett and Jeff Ulbrich. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. First, Nathaniel Hackett's quote on Zach Wilson. He says, "It's not just him. It's us as a group. It starts with me. We all need to be more consistent for Zach," which is true. I mean, the point that I've tried to make is that, yes, it's not all Zach Wilson. It's not. It's the play calling. It's self-inflicted wounds with drops and penalties, but Zach is also a part of the issues. It's not all him, but he is a part of the issues, and you can't just magically fix and get a new coordinator in here this week. That's not going to happen. That's not a realistic change. The offensive line is what it is. You can only do so much with it. The wide receiver room is what it is. You can only do so much with it. The only thing you really could change, theoretically, is the quarterback, which they're not going to do right now. For better or for worse, whatever side of the conversation you're on right now. Hackett's not wrong for taking the blame and saying that everyone has to get better, because it's true. Everyone does have to get better. I mean, you look at the red zone and offensive line, the red zone and third down efficiency. They are worst in the NFL by a significant margin. It's embarrassingly bad. That has to change. That is the thing that I have circled, is that has to change. Red zone and third down is the biggest thing that the Jets need to improve on as a whole on offense. He then would go on to say it's the self-inflicted wounds, the simple things. We get explosive plays and then they get called back for illegal shifts. For us, we're killing ourselves. You have to lock arms and stay together. It is a lot of self-inflicted wounds. The penalties are things that should be avoidable, though. Doesn't that go on the offensive coordinator, right? Like the one who's installing the plays and, the one coming up with the plays, that these guys are making these mistakes. Doesn't that go on the person in charge? Like yes, it's on the individual for making the mistakes, but it's also on the person in charge as well. It's a mix of a lot of things what is going wrong for this Jets offense. It's not just one thing. There's many things that is wrong with the offense. There's only a few things that you could actually potentially change, but let's just hope things get better this week. All right, as for Jeff Ulbrich, a few comments from Jeff Ulbrich. He said the defensive line was practicing falling on fumbles after Michael Clemens did not fall on a fumble. He tried to pick it up, which I really dislike that idea, to try to scoop a fumble, especially as a defensive lineman. I always cringe when someone tries to scoop a fumble, because how many times we see, more often than not, you try to scoop it and it just doesn't go well. I am team fall on a fumble for most of the part. I mean, there was, thank God, Bryce Hall scoop and score. That was awesome. Like, there are scenarios where it works. Quentin Williams last year with the stiff arm and, all that. But more often than not, if you're unsure, just fall on the ball, man. You're a big boy, right? Big defensive lineman. He added like 20 pounds of muscle this offseason. Just fall on the ball. That's all you got to do. The second thing I wanted to get into with Ulbrich was his comments on Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who is starting for the Vegas Raiders in this game. He said he's a guy that doesn't look like a rookie. Said his intelligence is better than most rookies, although this was something that is interesting. Todd Downing spent a few days with O'Connell during the pre-draft process, which has helped them prepare. So Todd Downing, former offensive coordinator for I almost said the Houston Texans. It's not. Wow, it's the Tennessee Titans. Brain not working today. The Tennessee Titans. But he spent some time with O'Connell in the pre-draft process. The Jets did not draft a quarterback, but it was a discussion point of potentially taking a quarterback at some point during the draft. O'Connell went in the 4th round. He was a day 3 favorite, someone who was going, in mocks between the 4th and 6th round. Then he ends up going in round 4, and now he's starting. And, I think this is an opportunity. I said it before in my preview video for the game. This is an opportunity for the Jets defense to create some turnovers against a young, inexperienced quarterback. And I would think that's something that they do in this game. But it was interesting that they pointed out that Todd Downing has the insight here, because, he hasn't really had a ton. Like, his name, we knew when he was brought in, but his name hasn't been brought up a ton in season, right? So that was something that I wasn't necessarily expecting to hear, but I thought it was an interesting point that we'd bring up. So to me, that was the biggest storylines from the pressers today and from Jets practice. I'd like to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.